It's Saturday Stockman Stampede, and today we're going to take a look at a Case 47 pattern knife. Now, this past week has been really hectic at work. It's been crazy busy. We've had some major equipment failures as classes started up again, so I've been very busy and I haven't had time to make any videos. This past week, I don't even think I've watched anybody's videos or commented on anybody's videos. So I'm sorry about that, but it's been a extremely busy week. So let's take a look at this knife. This is a Tractor Supply exclusive. And you can see the shield. It looks like it's got a barn on it. This is a beautiful bone on this. It's kind of a green color and almost black in the middle. It's beautiful. It's done really nice. Take a look at the fit and finish. This isn't a gap. It's very, very slight stepping right there. I don't actually see any gaps in there. Really nice fit and finish. Not absolutely 100% perfect, but very close. Perfectly smooth on all the transitions. Just put together really nice. And if you take a close look here, I don't think there's any rubbing on this knife. There's just a little bit of space, just a hairline gap between each of the blades. Now, that being said, when you go to open the knife, you're going to push one blade into another and you're going to cause rubbing, even though all the blades just sitting there don't actually rub. So, this 47 pattern, you're looking at a knife that's about 3 7/8, so very close to a 4-inch knife. This is a really nice size. It comes in between the medium Stockman and then a Case 75 pattern Stockman, a large Stockman. So this is a great knife to carry as an auxiliary knife. So I always carry a modern folder, which is a little bit larger, and then a traditional knife as a secondary knife. And this is a perfect size for that. A Case 75 is also really nice, but this fits just that sweet spot because if I have a large modern folder with me, I don't need a large traditional knife. This size is perfect. It fits in a slip and in a pocket on my left side, and it disappears and you don't even know you have it on you. So it's just perfect. Now the 47 pattern is a 3-spring knife. Now I haven't handled that many 3-spring knives, but all the 3-spring knives that I have handled do have one thing in common. You open them up, you hear that the snap is kind of weak. I'm going to bring this up by the microphone. Okay, so you can watch it visually. Not a whole lot of snap there. And when I close it, not a lot of force. Now when I take a look at this buck, this is also a 3-spring knife. Let's see what kind of snap it has. It's also quite lazy. It's one of the things people complain about on these bucks is that the springs are a little bit on the weak side. And then here's a little bit larger buck. This one is the same size, 3 7/8, so it's very comparable to the Case 47 pattern. Again, 3 springs. Yep, they're all about the same. All 3 of these knives have about the same amount of snap to them, and they have about the same amount of spring tension. Now, let's take a look at a Boker, which I've showed this already on the previous Saturday Stockman Stampede. This is a 4-inch knife, so it's just a hair bigger. Not very much. It's in the same class. It's basically the same size knife. Now watch. You see how quick that jumps into position? Now I'm going to bring this up by the microphone. There was the open, and there was the close. So this, you can even see it visually. A lot more snap there. This is a 2-spring knife. Now one thing that you'll notice and this is common with all of these, at least the ones I've seen. Look at the 3 springs. Look at how wide the springs are, and then look at how wide each spring is on the 2-spring knife. You see that difference? The springs are much thicker on the Boker than they are on the case. And I think that might be part of the issue, that the 3-spring knives don't have as much strength because the spring itself is actually quite a bit thinner. So in the same space, you're making room for 3 springs instead of 2 springs. Now, these 3-spring knives do have an advantage. All of them, too. The buck, even though it kind of looks like there's rubbing, these blades are all perfectly straight on both those bucks. And if I take a look on this case, you'll see the blade is perfectly in line with the handle. Now let's get the spade blade out. See, that's also perfectly in line with the handle. And the clip blade, that's also in line with the handle. Now, let's take a look at the Boker. Of course, as you would expect, your clip point blade is in line. But when we pull out the sheep's foot blade, you can see how that blade is angled to the left. So the sheep's foot blade is angled that way. And the spade blade is pretty straight. That's not too bad. But these blades have to be angled in order for them to have clearance and fit in one space, because they're both fitting in the same space. Now on the Boker, they take some out of this side of the blade and they take some out of the other side here to make a little bit of extra clearance, but they still have to bend the blade over a little bit. And that's very common. All your 2-spring knives have the blades bent, some more than others, some less than others. Your 3-spring knives, the blades are straight, which is kind of nice to have the blades in line, but the penalty is you have less spring tension. But it's a beautiful clip point blade. Let's get a measurement on this. We've got about 2 7/8 total blade length, and 2 and just over a half, I'm going to call it 2.5 inches on cutting edge. On the spade blade, get about 1 7/8 total length and 1 5/8 on the cutting edge. Sheep's foot, 2 1/16 total, just a hair over 1 3/4 on the cutting edge. So this thing is a beautiful knife. The fit and finish is excellent on these Case 47s, at least on this one. This particular Tractor Supply knife is really sweet. This is just one beautiful knife. I love this knife. And the spring tension isn't an issue. It is strong enough. You can carry it. The blade's not going to close on you. Just don't do anything stupid with the knife. You know, it's not a problem. It's not like it's flops closed or anything. There is enough tension there. But if you're used to a knife that has a lot stronger spring tension, that's just something to be aware of and keep in the back of your mind. So that's just a quick look at this Case 47 pattern, the Tractor Supply exclusive. And if you can find one of these, I would highly recommend you pick one up. These things are gorgeous. They're just high quality. Now, one thing I will say, this knife is in true sharp steel. Now, I don't know if Cases made carbon steel knives in the 47 pattern in the past. I don't know. If you know, can you leave it down in the comments if they've ever made one? Because that would be a really sweet knife to try and find. We'll see you on the next one.